it's actually good that this is, I believe this is the last session of the day, and someone will correct me if I'm wrong on that, I hope, because I've heard a lot of talk about data today, and apparently, word on the street is that on the investor front, this is actually the hottest commodity when it comes to water. But we have someone who could answer that. Helge, do you want to start? Is this something that a lot of people are looking into, or are you sort of, I don't know, scouting out something new when it comes to data on water?
Well, let's first of all, I'm representing here the venture capital community. There are lots of investment areas related to water, obviously, infrastructure, private equity, public equity, and so on. Maybe let's just make one potentially provocative statement. I've been in this business for 20 years now. And when I started being a venture capitalist in water, by training, I'm a civil and environmental engineer. Both my former colleagues from research, but also the water industry in general looked at you like, what do you want here? You capitalists, like, we don't want this, right? And the venture community looked at you, what are you doing? Water is such a niche. The adoption cycles are so long, that doesn't make sense for venture capital either, right? And if you now fast forward 20 years, I would actually argue that the problems and related solutions linked to water require the same timeline that we have as venture capitalists. We want solutions to the problems that are growing exponentially within the next 4 or 5 years, right? So I think that already it's an image. It's not the entire truth, but it tells probably a story why all of a sudden, to come to you answer your question, there is an interest in investing in the space. So we have the luxury of an ecosystem around us today. An event like this is a proof that there is more and more activity that makes this more of a business topic rather than just a sustainability topic. And likewise, we have accelerators, we have other funds, but we're not hundreds, right? And I would argue it pays off that you actually invested in this space for quite some years, so you're cognizant of the particularities linked to it, because it's actually many different verticals. It's not one space, right? And as such, I like to work in an organization that actually covers a lot of industrial areas and not just water. And I think it is important. And we heard this today a couple of times mentioned. When we discuss water-related investments, it's not always about the media of water or the resource of water. Sometimes it's, I think we talk about it, cybersecurity, that you can actually deliver a service linked to water. Sometimes it's about an energy topic, sometimes about food production. So, yeah, it is an interesting space. It's growing. And when it comes to digital, just as a final comment, there is no doubt that it is one of the most interesting sectors. It's where we built the most traction. We have a rich portfolio there and had exits. The complexities, value at stake, and obviously also the business models linked to digital solutions make it attractive for VCs.
Well, that makes sense. And it is sort of a booming sector in the sense that a lot of data is being collected, and can potentially be very useful, right? So I know you, Antonio, you have about 4 million smart meters or something now.
4 million customer, 1 million meters.
Well, that's enough for me. That's got to generate a tremendous amount of data, no?
Yes, we manage Acquedotto Pugliese. I'm the head of metering in Acquedotto Pugliese, and Acquedotto Pugliese is one of the most important European player in water and wastewater sector. We are publicly owned, and we manage the water distribution in the Apulia region. And we are about 4 million people, 1 million customer, all of them equipped with a meter. And up to 5-6 years ago, they were all mechanical meters. And now we are managing this smart metering plan, which involves the replacement of all the old mechanical meters with new smart meters. And moreover, those smart meters will be read by a fixed network. So the data collection will be in fixed mode, continuous mode, And this makes possible the digital evolution of our network because it enables not only the measurement, so not only measurement for billing purpose, which was the only purpose of the metering up to a few years ago. Now, the amount of data we are able to get with the fixed network makes possible even to feed our other systems, such as hydraulic modeling or leakage detection. So more data. When we had mechanical meters, we had no information about, but now that we know, we have to manage it.
Yeah.
And so
And that is a challenge.
sometimes it's better to don't know, but now we know.
Yeah. And you, Emily, you're doing some of this, I'm guessing.
Yes, because Endress+Hauser is not a new name in the industry. We have been established for a long time, 75 years actually, with a strong presence in the wastewater waste industry. We have executed projects that have also, so we are talking about an aging infrastructure in Europe.
Yeah.
So we have executed projects where we help to upgrade the utilities infrastructure. Most operators are very excited when it comes to the digital train. They go like, yes, let's do it. They do it, and you know what they experience post-project? Alarm fatigue. So it is very exciting to build, to install sensor points everywhere. But then they get so many alarms beeping into the systems and go like, what shall I do? So they experience a lot of overwhelm. So I think this is also the traction and the journey that a lot of operators are beginning to grow into. They start first with gathering data, and then they are starting to think, okay, what do we do with all these data? Do I build them into models now to tell me or give me an indication of what to do? So we have executed projects in the Tuscan region, actually, in monitoring of springs and groundwater wells. So there were over 200 plus measuring points, water quality. And this is what they got, ping, 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 every single day. I was there and I saw it. I felt sorry for them because they go like, what do I do if a pH drops from 7.5 to, 6.8? So, yeah. So now they are looking at the next phase of the project, getting AI and machine learning into the picture.
And that is perhaps then the next stage
Yes.
of the industry as a whole, is sort of the processing is where it's headed. Would that be correct to say?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know about you guys, but I see that happening as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Do you agree, Helge? Is that...
Yeah, it is. I mean, just like you said, it enables the next stage, right? First of all, you need data points, reliable data points, or even, let's put it this way, I always projected a lot of maybe not so accurate data, but data analytics making sense of it because of the mass of data. And but with providers like Endress+Hauser, you obviously have also good quality data, and you can look like you said. The initial intuition would be let's meter automatically what consumers do, but that itself doesn't pay off.
No.
You need to leverage that data to gain your insights about your entire system, and therefore make smarter decisions beyond just how you serve the customer. And that's where we then have the software layers and decision-making processes and so on. Yeah.
What are you seeing in that space right now? What are some of the more esoteric uses of this sort of water data?
Well, it's actually not, I wouldn't call it esoteric. One of our currently most successful companies is a sewer-focused company, Sewer AI. And what I was most intrigued by initially was not that it was the most disruptive, sexy technology, which we also see sometimes, and then we take a look at it because of the technology. But in this case, it was a technology-enabled, enhanced workflow for everybody involved in the sewer inspection space, for the contractors, the utilities, even the engineering firms. It's a US-focused company. Engineering firms play a big role. So actually everybody wins. And so you can, as a venture capitalist, you need fast adoption. You can see how that actually will happen. Whereas if you have a very disruptive technology, you sometimes have to bang your head a few times, and then you find the early adopters, and then as a VC, you sell the business on that basis. Now we covered the early adopters. Please, buyer, take it to the next level, right? Yeah. But it's a stronger statement if you actually have a company that manages to penetrate very quickly different customer types, contractors, utilities, and shows 100% growth year over year over 4 years in that space by making use of AI-enhanced image analysis, because CCTV is the dominant inspection method in sewers, and then take it to the next level. As you then have this kind of data under your belt, now you can use another type of AI to come up with risk and rehabilitation suggestions, right? Maps and suggestions. So this is really how it stacks up, and it starts with sensors and then taking it one level at a time. So very exciting.
Yeah, no, and it seems exciting to me also for another reason, which is, so I've spoken to a lot of people from the UK today, and when you speak to people from the UK, you talk a lot about regulation and sort of how planning and so on and so forth is really hampering the pace of adoption. But these technologies they're sort of more decentralized, right? You're talking about sensors, and no one hates a sensor, or very few people do, and that's how you're able to have this sort of very rapid rollout of systems, like you've seen in your case in Italy, right? Would that be correct to say?
Yes, and what makes the difference today with the AI is that you can do analysis that you were not able to do just a few years ago, because normally in water utility we not manage not so many data. Yeah. But now that we have those data, we can have with the help of AI different thresholds for different customers. Up to a few years ago, we had thresholds for alarms, for customer awareness of consumption, but they were general. They were according to the type of, it was a house, a commercial user, industrial user. But now you can have alarms and consumption awareness according to your consumption, your real consumption, because the meter has his alarms, his thresholds for alarms, but the meter doesn't know who is behind him. So I don't know if you have a swim pool okay, so I don't know if your consumption is abnormal consumption or not. AI, which learns your consumption, is able to make your awareness of consumption custom for your meter.
Yeah. No, it's.
Can I just make a comment?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you go first.
AI. I mean, it is obviously a strong, let's call it, method that we're using, and it revolutionizes a lot of things. But I actually think it's becoming very quickly also a commodity, which is why I think, for example, looking at you, I think that the true asset going forward will be providing the anchoring data, right? So really, if you have a unique way of sensing a certain constituent in water or whatever it is, I think that is the key currency or asset going forward, because the rest will be provided by a very rich digital community. I just wanted to make that comment. It's great, but I think it's not what we need to develop and bet on.
I just wanted to reinforce that. I mean, sensor data is very important. Reliability, consistent data, because we need the predictability for AI or ML algorithms for sure. But this comes back to really basic, fundamental, and really very unsexy topics, like where the sensors are installed, how they are installed, whether they're maintained, as in serviced or calibrated or verified or cleaned, is also a major factor. Because if you don't cover the ground, these fundamental factors, you will never get reliable data for whatever digitalization journey you want to go forward with, whether it's ML or AI or just a simple thing. Also, the next point when we talk about digitalization is remote connectivity. Not all measurement points in your network have remote access. GPS, when you embark on a digitalization journey, do you question if these points are accessible? You may think, yes, it is. But then, during the installation of the project, and we have also another case in Italy, for instance, where out of 600 flow metering points, 180 didn't have cellular GPS access. So they had to scramble, the customer had to scramble to get LoRaWAN installed, but then there's a delay in the project then. So all these questions have to be covered.
Oh.
Yeah.
I guess the only alternative would be to use some sort of digital twin or something like that, right? Is that happening or is it not happening? I've heard.
Yeah, but you still need remote connectivity, right?
Yeah.
Digital twin is just a virtual version of an application, whether it's the oration basin or the abstraction process. You still need the data. You still need to access it. Yeah.
You won't have a good twin if you don't have the data.
Yeah.
On the original, the other twin, whoever, the non-digital twin. You need data on the non-digital twin to get the digital twin, I guess.
Yeah.
It's really a problem. The connectivity. Yes, it's because that's the reason why we choose a low power wide area network protocol for our project. We choose LoRaWAN for this reason, because a GPS network is already installed. Meters are plug and play, but you don't know if you really have access to that network there. If you have, if you have to do the network, you can do it according to your meters where they are. So you can cover as you want your network. And you can do it at sustainable cost.
Makes sense. So let's see. Do we have any questions from the audience? Any chance? Yes.
Instead of still here.
Thank you. Well, you spoke about the connectivity issue of digitalizing the infrastructure. We're aware of this, but how about the securing against the cybersecurity threats and infrastructure that over the time will need updates, will need patches to protect against the new threats? Maybe you can deliver now a completely new network, a completely new sensors. They are okay now, but what will happen in 1 year, in 20 years? That is more or less the life cycle of the water infrastructure.
That's a very good question. It's directed to me, I guess, because
I think you should answer this, but you can start. You can start, Emily.
Also to the operator.
Yeah.
And I want capital in on this as well, but you start, Emily.
I'll start because we are pressured. Manufacturers are pressured today by the EU Cyber Resilience Act. This was, I know our production facilities have been scrambling to do something. Not that we haven't done anything before, but now, we're under pressure to meet that legislation. So we've come up with a label. It's called Protect Blue. And what we do is that we guarantee secure HTTPS web servers. We guarantee secure logins. We guarantee a lot of things. Plus, we have ISO certified protocols within the manufacturing of the product, the device, plus its communication to an edge device to the cloud, and back. So it's not a consumer type security protocol, but this is industrialized ISO. I think we are probably the only instrumentation provider in the world today that has such extensive cybersecurity protocols. Does it guarantee anything? Of course it doesn't. But I think the risk is minimal, or we try our best to keep the risk minimal that there could be attacks. That's the best we can do. Yeah.
Well, go, Antonio.
Yeah, from metering point of view, we don't have many cybersecurity risks. What I mean, we don't have comments for the network. We don't risk chemical agents in water. We just measure and and just send the message. There could be a privacy problem about the data, but you can just solve this when you anonymize the information. The meters doesn't say who is the consumption. Okay, so you have to take in your IT system the link between the message and the customer, and the message is anonymous. So there is not even a privacy problem from this point of view. Maybe the only risk is the transmission, the payload sent from the meters. But, for example, the lower one has an encryption system. So the message is sent and is encrypted, and then there is the decryption of the message when the gateway gets it and sends it to the operator, to the utility system.
Yeah, and from our perspective, right, it is a threat to the industry. Therefore, it's also an opportunity for us as an investor. Because, as I tried to say at the beginning, critical water supply or water security, water resilience, whatever you want to call it, is not just water, the resource itself, is anything related to it, the service related to it. And there are a lot of digital topics appear. First of all, what we just discussed, you enable a lot of resource efficiency with all the digital tools and sensors you implement, but then you need to ensure that infrastructure itself is resilient. So we, from the start, when we launched our water funds, we said, okay, we're not just investing in the so-called water technologies, but also in what we call cross-industrial IT, that is key for the revolution that's happening in the water sector as well. Because if you think about it, a company that has an innovative solution for utility infrastructure, it would almost be stupid to just focus on water. They would also focus on energy. They would focus on industrial plants and so on. So just because it's not called a water company, we shouldn't shy away from investing in it, and that has always been our approach. And so, yes, completely agree. It's a big topic. It will never go away. That's actually, from an investor perspective, the good thing. You can invest in one today, and we did. And tomorrow you need another one. Yeah.
Is there a lot of movement in this space now with the geopolitical situation? And I just saw this morning that there was an extended attack on Poland linked to Russia, potentially.
Yes.
Or allegedly, I guess I should
Well, there's certainly a lot of movement in terms of incidents, and we're made aware of it because of the situation. In terms of deal flow, I don't think it has always been strong over the last years. It's then the question from a water perspective, are they suitable for us as the water fund investors? But Emerald, in general, looks at these deals quite regularly. Yeah.
I'd imagine with all the fund spending that's coming in, there will be some going into technologies like this, but I don't know. Have you seen anything like that, Emily? Is this sort of, are people coming to companies like yours and saying, we're worried about our water infrastructure and sort of cyber attacks and so on and so forth?
Every single day.
Yeah.
You mentioned Poland. It's exactly the discussion that I had with my Polish colleagues last week.
I see.
We are trying to promote certain cloud hosting platforms, but they said, no way, no way. Everything has to be done manually because of geopolitical challenges that I don't want to go into today. Yeah. But I can understand their fear and anxiety. But at the same time, we need to educate them on the ISO protocols that we have as well. But the discussion can never be resolved today, you know. So and also the US. I mean, there was also another attack, I think, earlier this week or also last week. So this is becoming very, very prevalent.
Yeah. Yes, I have a question from the back.
Hi, this is Ipek from Endress+Hauser. I have a question to the audience. Who should own the water data? Is it public? Is it regulators or water utilities?
What do you call water data? I would ask back. If it's related to your network, and you operate your network, then it should be the one that is operating the network. And I don't think you should make it public, because it's also, you're vulnerable at the moment you do that, right? If it's about the data in which condition our natural water bodies are, then it should be in the public domain, right? But I think it mostly is. But that's just my quick answer. Well, when you say public hands, let's look at democracy, right? Governing a country is usually, like in many countries, in public hands, but we elect some that actually do it for us. Should every individual know all the details? And then therefore also we pass the responsibility to manage that data responsibly to every individual? I don't think that makes a lot of sense. But again, it's a very spontaneous reaction. You elect or select some people to do something professionally. Anyhow.
No, I mean, from a private company's perspective, we do not own the data. That's for sure. And we have contracts that say, we are not touching the data, you own it. It's in the hands of the end customer, the utility or the operator. Yeah.
We don't have problem because we are fully public only. So we are public.
Has anyone ever asked to see their water data?
Sorry?
Has anyone ever asked to see their water data? Well, you can request it, right, under EU law.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as a private consumer, I ask my utility, like, what are the parameters and what are the levels at the different seasons? I want to know the hardness, because I'm getting all this scaling on my kitchen sinks and bathrooms. Like, what's happening? Yeah. So, we have every right to ask for it, sure.
Yeah, no, makes sense to me. Also, the coffee isn't good if the water is.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a huge problem for me. Any other questions from the audience? Yes, please.
Hi, Melina from Microsoft. If you had to prioritize your investments, because obviously we're saying sensors are important, data platforms are important, AI models are important, what do you guys think is going to move the needle the most in the next coming 3 years?
Well, an answer that sounds political, but I actually believe in it. It's all of the above. So, I mean, I mean, one, as we try to explain, right, one enables the other. I love the water sector for its complexity. So you need some data to provide the insights, and to make sense out of the data, you need some software layers, and software you can decide what it includes to help you with your decision making, whether it's planning, whether it's monitoring the operations, and so on. So I think it's that interplay. But let's put it this way: you will probably rarely, like from a let's say startup perspective, you would rarely stop at just bringing a sensor to the market and just leave it at that. You would probably want to capture more and offer actual insights, and that is then always linked to software.
I think it all depends on the operator's priority. If they need to comply to certain legislation, and today, as we know, legislations are getting very demanding. It is not just about monitoring the output of a drinking water treatment plant anymore. It's not single applications, but it's system-wide. So much so that some legislations are already making sure that operators reduce their energy consumption, or they have to reduce their carbon footprint. And because of that, the operators have to think, okay, what is the biggest energy consumption consuming application in my drinking water plant? Obviously, it would be the pumps, right? You have a lot of pumps in the groundwater application or in the distribution network, and then they have to start figuring things out. And then from there, they start to think, okay, do I have enough data? You know, and I think that the funds have to be channeled in a very smart way, because it doesn't mean that they have to install a whole bunch of sensors to get data. So they have to, I think a consultant or somebody has to sit down with the operator and just figure out, do you have an operational target? If your target is to reduce energy consumption by 5, 10, 15%, then we have to work accordingly. So it's hard to put a...
Subjective.
Yeah, it is. It's very hard to answer your question, really, because they're all interrelated. But I think operators should work smart with the limited funds sometimes they are available out there.
Yes, and it's true. It's true. I fully agree because investment are moved from regulation, and maybe not in our case because, as I was saying before, we are public owned, so we can have capex and opex only if regulation. There is a constraint, obligation constraint to do it. But for example, in our smart metering program, we achieved the results to have the smart metering 8,000 readings per year at the same cost of 2 manual readings per year. So our customer has not been involved in this project at cost level. Okay, so and this is possible. We do it now because there was this kind of technologies, the low power bidirectional networks, which allows to cover great areas with few gateways. So the cost of the infrastructure is very low against the 6, 7, 10 years ago. And so the cost is sustainable. And it doesn't need, in fact, in Italy, there is no obligation to have the smart metering in the water sector. Electricity, gas, yes, not in the water sector.
I think we'll have to continue the conversation after this. We're going to end it with that. I think it was a 4,000x you alluded to there on the 2 readings to 8,000. That's very impressive. This is clearly a field that is growing rapidly, and there's a lot of opportunity. See some of those opportunities after this. Talk to each other, and have a good rest of your day. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.